very soon.
And off we go.
3 out of 4 start at Link's house, get some arrows, while Desert Eagle starts at Sanctuary and picks up a heart container. These 3 who started at Link's house are heading up to check Uncle.
Looks like we had 3 crystals in the Dark World with a 5-6 crystal on EP.
Yeah, it's the kind of map you want to see. The more pendants in the Dark World, the better you can hope for.
Now, you kind of want to hope for the pendants not to be on Swamp at least, because you can always go mode that to make it super quick. Usually you want pendants on, let's say, TR and Meyer, and then maybe Mothula, maybe?
Those aren't bad choices. If you're someone like Zero Rush who's capable of doing the minor glitch known as hovering, you do definitely want to see Swamp as a pendant, because that gives you the chance to make use of that. But for the most part, yeah, if you're looking for just the quickest type of layout, then TR Meyer pendants for sure. And then you're kind of torn between Ice or Skullwoods or maybe even Thieves Town, since that's in speed up quick and go mode.
It looks like Desert Eagle got 8 bomb pulls from the tier 1 tree pull, so he's good for bombs for now.
I believe it was actually the bush crab with the bombs. The tier 1 tree pull was just some green rupees like vanilla.
Oh, yep, you're right. So he doesn't have to worry about getting money for that now. And it looks like Zero's going to get the same thing. I imagine all 4 runners are going to get these bombs.
Yeah, everyone's coming up to check the lumberjack tree here, and that's putting them right by this bush crab.
The tough thing is, when V30 updated, what was it, about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks, they took out the bomb upgrade, so they only have a maximum of 10 bombs unless they buy the upgrade later.
Yep, which sounds pretty daunting if you're, used to having a bunch of bombs and you're not, someone who's raced a lot. But for most of these guys, okay, they get less bomb capacity upgrades, but they get more ammo. So for the most part, the part where it comes into play is right near the end, when you're heading off to GT, when you're heading toward the end game, and you're not opening chests anymore. That's when you start to miss those upgrades.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen it several times happening where runners will run out of arrows on the gauntlet. That's never a pretty thing to see.
Shoutouts to Blind's Hut for just being a few varieties of small rupees and a piece of heart.
Yep, doesn't look like we're gonna have a good stack of Rico, but there's still time for it to show up.
Yep, and bright side of all that money is they are going to be able to afford the bottle vendor while they're here. Don't have to worry about leaving that behind.
Yeah, sometimes it's unfortunate where you have to leave something behind in the very beginning and then just worry about it for the rest of the race, or until you check it again. Always in the back of your mind.
The well keeping pace right now, Heart Piece and Big 20.
Ooh, but that's pretty good. We got a Fire Rod.
So out of all of Blind's Hut and the well, a bunch of rupees, 2 heart pieces, and 1 actually useful item.
And just some bombs on the bottle vendor. Expensive bombs. Yeah, 9 chests, only 1 chest contained anything that was really any good. Oh, it looks like Desert Eagle missed the Kugo throw.
Good old chicken clip. The thing where it's pretty free to do, you just gotta remember, if you pick up a chicken and aren't holding anything, run at your bomb as fast as you can.
Ooh, we got some progressive gloves in the back of the tavern.
So that's our first item that opens anything up. It's probably going to be a pretty early trip to the back of Escape. It's a very quick check from a Save and Quit Sanctuary, so it's one of those things you might as well knock out.
Yeah, and seeing gloves is always good. I feel like the Giant's gloves and the Titan's mitts kind of open up the most spots compared to all the other items.
They're definitely up there. I believe it is the hammer that opens up the single most locations on its own, but gloves are probably second place. I don't actually know offhand.
I'm sure chat will come rescue me and tell me I'm wrong.
Oh dear, you don't want to see that.
But we get a lantern for Desert Eagle. It's not 100% yet, but early lantern could indicate we might be having a required Aghanim seed.
Yeah, the upshot here is they also have that glove, so it could just be, hey, you should go to Death Mountain eventually. But anytime as a runner you see a lamp this early, you immediately just start thinking, you're not going to make me do Aghanim, are you?
Yeah, you never want to see that. Or at least I personally don't want to. These runners don't care, they're too talented to care. The other items they need to look for to make Aghanim for sure, or at least possible, is either the Magic Cape and the Fighter Sword, or just the Master Sword by itself.
In the dam here, we get an Ether Medallion, which doesn't do anything for them right now, but might be required later.
Yep, the earlier you see those, the quicker you can figure out whether or not it's required. Definitely don't want to find out later that you're missing a medallion.
Sea Falcon and Zero Rush are making that play into the back of Escape, while Mekon and Desert Eagle are both headed down to the South Shore area.
Yeah, with the they have 5 hearts so far, so in green mail.
Oh, that's a lovely item to pick up.
Oh yes, gotta go fast. So that was the right call, it looks like.
Yep, I can't imagine Mekon and Desert putting that off too long, but getting boots out of the way early is very good.
That's a kind of smart item.
A sword.
So both are required, and it doesn't really make much of a difference to get boots just a few minutes before the other runners, but it feels good.
Oh, and Desert Eagle choosing to save and quit out of Mini Moldorm Cave and leave behind Ice Rod Cave.
Yeah, I don't blame him for that, because without the boots, you gotta walk all the way up there, wait for the bomb, and then save and quit out. So I don't blame him for skipping it at all.
Yep, going to go ahead and check Uncle and the secret passage over here, which the other runners did earlier.
We have almost 6 hearts so far, and we're only 8 minutes in, so it's looking like they're gonna have a healthy seed. Definitely it helps out when you're going through South Shore and you want to dodge all these crabs.
The crabs are the worst enemy that's not called dead rocks.
I was about to say there was one enemy that is definitely worse than the crabs.
So Mekon is approaching the Ice Rod Cave, and Desert has chosen to go into the front of Escape. We'll see if there's anything of value up there.
Yeah, he's only one item away from possibly having to do, or getting the requirements for Aghanim. Didn't quite catch what Mekon found in the Ice Rod Cave.
That was the legendary single arrow.
Yes. Single arrows. Zero Rush having a bit of a problem with the mini Moldworms.
Now, interestingly, the single arrow has actually gained some value as a pickup in V30. Ooh, Titansmith's on Hylia Island.
Well, look at that. That's some good information to know.
But yeah, the single arrow has gained a little bit of value. So with the hint system that was added in V30, one of the types of hints you can get is a unique item is on blank. Well, out of all the things that are listed as unique items, the single arrow is the only one that's not something that you might actually care about. So when you get that single arrow early, you at least now know, hey, anytime I see unique item, it's going to be an actual inventory item. It's probably worth looking for.
Yep, but you still have to be careful because unique items also relate to the bug nets and the mushroom, which aren't always necessarily required. Well, bug net definitely not required. Mushroom maybe.
It's true, although once we get to groups, we see some swordless seeds, we may see a required bug net.
And just a spicy burrito in Zelda Cell.
Heart container and a mirror in the waterfall. Well, now as soon as they get Dark World access, they can grab those Titan's mitts.
Yeah, so it's looking to be a pretty open seed once they get to that point. There's our second medallion of the night.
Yep, the good old Quack medallion sitting right on the side there. Might, again, like Ether, might be required later. Does absolutely nothing for them now.
And then, of course, we're hoping that, or Zero's hoping, or betting that the King Zor is not going to have anything. Doesn't have anywhere near 500 rupees. If there's anything on there, it's going to be a bit of a wait before we make our way over there.
Yeah, it's one of those difficult calls you have to make early before you get much money. It's like, is it worth the trip to Zora yet?
And yet, 9 out of 10 times, it's just a scam. But on that 10th time, yikes.
Kind of watching, and Zero is headed over to Eastern Palace. It'll be interesting to see when he goes back to Mini Moldorm Cave, because he's gonna need that sword and cane, probably.
Yeah, I can't imagine not wanting to get that if he... Well, yeah, he'll definitely want to get there as soon as he can.
Meantime, we find
silvers.
And another sword! Hey!
Oh, so he's good. Just gotta get that cane.
Green Pendant Turtle Rock.
Ooh, so we gotta hope Sahasrahla doesn't have anything, because that is quite out of the way to get that particular green pendant.
It is. The bright side is it also means that there are very few items that could possibly be on the green pendant.
Yeah, we already know Kane's out. Hookshot, Fire Rod. What else? No, not boots. Hammer. Am I missing anything?
The bow is needed eventually. And the flute might be. But yeah, a lot of the items that are needed eventually are also just needed to clear T-Rock, so...
Chat pointing out there's potentially a helpful hint where it'll tell us that there's out of the way locations.
Also, it's worth noting that at this point, I'm pretty sure, I'm willing to bet that this is an Aghanim required seed for Dark World access. They've got the flippers, the mirror, which gets them to Hylia Island. They've got Master Sword available, they've got the lamp. Everything is pointing to go to Aghanim to go get that Titan's Mitt, so you can open up the rest of the Dark World.
Desert Eagle demonstrating a super speed glitch. He charged up a sword and then released it on the frame after the charge up, letting him run at Pegasus Bootsy without having to worry about control.
Piece of Heart in Spectacle Rock Cave, and he did make a point of checking that item. He's still going to go and grab it. We get our first hint over here at Eastern with the heart container held by a grumpy fish.
That's a great hint to find out. Now you don't have to worry about that catfish. Or actually, that could be the King Zora, can it?
Yeah, that's King Zora or catfish, so you still got a 50-50 that one of them is important. A unique item is in plain sight. Well, we know what that's probably referring to already.
chances are it probably is referring to Titan's Mitt, but it could be one of the other in plain sight locations as well. But what are the odds of that?
And we are seeing Mikon use the mirror from the waterfall to head up to Tower of Hera, which is something that Desert Eagle could not do, having not done these flippers checks yet.
Yep, and Tower of Hera is completable, so that'll be our first crystal, probably in here in about 4 minutes, maybe less.
Yep, and it comes with it with 2 items and 2 hint tiles. Ooh, Dark World map check. Skull Woods, Thieves Town are our other pendants, and our other 5/6 crystal is Swamp.
That Thieves Town is kind of important. Usually it's your first early Dark World check, but now it's a pendant.
Okay, Zero Rush has made it through Mini Moldorm Cave this time.
Meanwhile, McCann found the hammer in the Hera chest.
So the Aga for Dark World access stream is kind of dying, but it's all going to depend on Moon Pearl.
Yep, that Moon Pearl can be on the Pyramid Ledge, so that's a 1 out of 216 locations it could have been, and that one's a mean one.
Well, much less than 216 locations.
Oh, that's true. That's
most
very
of Dark
true.
World can't have Moon Pearl.
That's a very good point.
Also, a late shout out to that hint in Tower of Hera telling us don't bother with Mimic Cave.
I feel like the seed has been pretty kind so far, giving you early fire, really just any fire source, early boots. We know where the second glove upgrade is, and the tools to get to the second glove. So I feel like this is a pretty kind seed.
Yeah, and with T-Rock as a pendant, you don't have to worry about the ever-adored hunt for the Ice Rod. You kind of got it a little bit easier than average on that front, but we do still have to find the bow, which is kind of equally hard to find.
Desert Eagle about to get his mirror.
You're probably thinking, why couldn't I have had this before I went up the mountain?
Yep, and a race this large, whenever you find that, whenever you have to reroute things like that, you know somebody else did it right. And so now he's gonna feel that pressure out later on.
Then we got 300 rupees behind a joke hint, so Hera had the hammer, which is important. It opens up all of East Death Mountain to these runners as they get over there. But the second item was not so worth.
Alright, so at least we found the hammer in here, so now we don't have to worry about the sword spins on Trolldorm.
Yeah, Fighter Sword Vanilla Trolldorm is the worst because you can't avoid him going fast. With Hammer, you can just skip that whole speed up phase and take him out nice and quick.
Yeah, 3 hits and he's out. So our first crystal in just under 19 minutes. It's pretty good pace.
Yeah, it's certainly not a bad start. We got Desert Eagle headed back up to hit up Tower of Hera this time, and Mikon will be heading across to Spiral Cave here soon.
Oh yeah, the hammer is super important for this East Death Mountain access. And just a big 20 on the island in the sky, so we won't have to waste time on that later.
Now for Spiral Cave, the fun way, where you have those boots that you can just kind of run through. Except for waiting for the Baris, because Baris are awful.
That's very true, especially in Hookshot Cave.
Also worth noting that Zero Rush is the only one with Master Sword right now. So that's a nice little plus to have that earlier than everyone else.
And Mikan's about to show us the real Hype Cave, aka Paradox.
Using the mirror to erase that block in the middle, save a couple of transitions, and finding a level 2 shield and 20 bucks.
Yep, shields not required, and actually most runners prefer not to get any shields.
Yeah, logic can require shields, but actual gameplay never required.
Nah, we're better than that.
Get a piece of heart, another sword.
That's gonna be level 3 when Zero makes his way over there.
And there's the Moon Pearl. Aghanim is dead. They can go get that Titan's Mid, check Hype Cave now. That was a lovely east side of Death Mountain.
Yeah, that was really, really nice to find. I don't know how that could have been any nicer.
Yeah, there's not much else that you would have wanted right there. I mean, it could have been all of your remaining Go mode items, but that's a bit much.
That's true.
Now we're off to everyone's favorite love-hate location, Hype Cave.
But first, a map check. Alright, what's it gonna be? Real hype or fake hype?
Well, you get your bombs back. That's a good start. And the bow.
Oh, that's nice.
Riot Shield, 50 bucks, and a blue shirt.
Alright, that was pretty hype. Not gonna lie.
I can't complain. The guy gives you, your bombs back that you use to break down his walls. He gives you his prized bow and arrow and shield, some armor.
And on top of that, now we get our Titan's Mitts. That's pretty much all of the access we need for Dark World. Only real thing we're missing is Flute for the Mire area.
Yep, in fact, the only things that we're missing for Go mode at this point would be the Flute and the Hookshot.
Good lord, are we already 2 items from Go mode? 23 minutes in, you might be getting your wish here.
It's looking possible. And Mikan gonna head over to Sahasral's hut, get his level 3 sword.
And silvers.
And then going to probably clear Eastern and Pod immediately afterwards.
And we haven't seen Pod yet, so that'll be our first look into it.
Looks like Sea Falcon decided to just go straight up this way instead of getting that Titan, or after getting the Titan's Mid, which is a little bit more efficient because he's going to be able to just mirror into Sasrala's house and over to Eastern.
Yep, and big races like this, every little bit of efficiency counts. Yeah, right in the doorway.
It's a great feeling to just be like, yep, got that placed perfectly there.
I had to double check just to be sure, but he does also have enough money for Kiki, so no worries for this part.
Kiki's a very greedy monkey.
You always feel bad when you get the monkey all the way over there, then you find out, nope, not enough money.
And you're like, but why can't I just climb up there and press that button?
I can see it, it's right there. Alright, but Falcon, he has a 14 chests in here, 5 of which might have progression.
Nabs a small key out of the first room. Honestly, when you get an early bow, you're kind of hoping for not a small key there, because it tells you that, you know, hey, the rest of the dungeon is bow locked. And sometimes that's a good sign, because that means, you know, it's later, so to speak.
Looks like you found another small key.
Yep, so pod key logic is ridiculous. There's a lot of intricacy to how it's laid out. One thing that you do know for sure is in the front half of the dungeon, so between the left entrance, the middle stuff, and the right, you're going to find 4 small keys at least. What you find beyond that could be 2 more small keys, could be non-keys, but you're going to find at least 4 up front.
And we get one more hint here. Let's see what it is.
Just walk away.
Womp womp.
Wait, 0, are you? Okay, sure.
Well, thanks, Ice Palace. I can see it, since there's 3 hints in here. Ice Palace has gotten a lot more value in the early part of the Dark World.
Absolutely, and in Zero Rush's case in particular, he's sitting at about a 0.95 in score, and his score can't go down from this race, because his worst race is going to get dropped afterwards. So if you're ever going to make a, you know, wacky play no one else is going to make, you do it in this race that means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and you know, the logic is pointing over here a little bit between early Titans mids and the Fire Rod. And so even if it was a serious race, I'd very much agree with this.
Yeah, it's not a bad play at all. It's just one of those ones that you don't expect people to make, because the meta is so heavily against going to Ice Palace until you absolutely have to.
Yeah, it always feels good to be able to get that Go mode Ice Palace.
A unique item is on a boss. Thanks, buddy. That's very descriptive.
Hope it's not a pendant boss. Because if it's on Trinex, we might have some time before we see it.
I haven't really 100% kept up on what all has been going on in Pod. I don't know how many items we got left to find. We found a map, so there's at least, I want to say, 3 more items to go.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I haven't really been keeping up with it either. Find 1 big 20, so that's 1 of the 5 we're looking for.
There's the compass, so Helmasaur is going to have the last one, and the big chest is going to have an item. Village of Outcast, Pod, both coming up pretty empty so far.
Ugh, Falcon finding the worst boomerang.
I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with you on that one.
You know you're allowed to do that, but just know you're wrong.
But the lag, though.
But red things go faster. It's
Goes
scientifically
faster
proven.
in the game and slower in real time because of lag.
But it's science. Red things go faster.
We've got a bunch of different decisions and plays being made here, and not a single one of them has paid out for anyone.
Yep, we might see an item on Helmasaur. We might also see an item on Cold Stare. Or at least a good progression item.
I do get Desert going through these overworld checks. You know, they're pretty quick to knock out, and you're probably gonna do them anyway. But I do kind of enjoy the thought of just, hey, I've got crystals I can full clear, let's do that before anything else.
The one caveat to that being is you might find out later you could have go moded it. That's never a good feeling.
Desert about to get the bow from Hype Cave, then go over and get his Titan's Mitts as Sea Falcon makes his way to Helmasaur, and Mikon will be behind just a little bit.
Yeah, with silver arrows, Helmasaur's already a joke, but silver arrows makes it extra funny.
Now see, with Tempered Sword, I tend to just go with releasing a spin after the hammer strikes and then slashing them twice, and it's a little bit quicker than menuing to the silvers.
Yeah, especially if you don't get it on your first shot. And our unique item was not on Helmasaur.
It's true, and in fact, progression was not to be found in Pod anywhere. There was nothing of note except for a boomerang.
Zero Rush, blue armor, 2 hearts. He's got this.
Oh dear, did not get Cold Stare trapped in the corner, and 2 hearts, even with blue mail, anything that happens in this fight will one-shot him, if I recall.
He might survive 1 icicle hit, but that he won't survive a Cold Stare hit. Not a problem though, because he does it just fine.
Yep, handles it beautifully for $5.
Thanks, Seed. Yep, there's another dungeon that could have been go moded. Unfortunate.
Yep, so Pod was empty, Eastern was empty, Ice Palace was empty. Where do we go next?
I'm trying to think, and I think Skull Woods and Thieves Town would be my next bet.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea despite the fact that they are pendants. Okay, there's only one reason I can think of for Zero to be going to this portal. And he might be really doubling down on that let's try to get a win when this race doesn't matter, if I'm right on it. Okay, he is not doing what I thought he was going to do, which was go dive swamp without the hook shot. He's going to go over to Pod like everyone else did.
I would have been very, very impressed if he had gone all the way to the swamp. But we might find out later that that was the right decision.
It's true, and I really do enjoy having someone like Zero who's already almost 100% locked into groups in this race. Just because you do get to see how people who know what they're doing kind of adjust their strategy when they're just going for the best possible outcome instead of the most reliable outcome.
Yeah, nerves definitely play a part in this race. One, when it's a big race like this for a big tournament, and number 2, when you're being restreamed.
We might as well, while everyone is retracing steps here, give a little bit of an idea of what's left of this tournament going forward. Today is the 9th of 15 races, meaning that if you're looking to get in on the tournament, you haven't done any qualifiers yet. 2 more to go before you don't have enough left to actually get your 5 races in. So if you're considering entering the tournament and you haven't gotten around to joining any qualifiers yet, you might want to jump on that, because you're getting short on time.
Yep, the last qualifier is a week from tomorrow, which is, I believe, the 21st.
That sounds accurate. And then once these qualifiers are done, the top 96 in score will be moving on to a group stage. There will be 6 groups of 16, and you will have 3 matches per opponent, so each person will have 15 races due over the course of 6 weeks. And the top 2 from each group will move into the bracket stage of 32 to fight for the championship.
Chad's asking for a leaderboard. There is one posted in the official tournament Discord.
Yes, there is. And worth noting as well, once we get into group stage, this tournament is going to get silly. There are going to be several different variations you are able to pick. Qualifiers are all open to make them nice and consistent, to make it so that your schedule doesn't give you an advantage or disadvantage. But the group stage is going to be all kinds of modes, all kinds of different play styles. It'll be interesting to see how people try to play their opponents throughout.
Yeah, one-on-one races are very, very different from these giant group stages.
Okay, and here goes Mikon's turn to go into Worthless Palace.
Now, I do want to point out that the shovel was found in Pod, so there could be a fetch quest progression. Not that I'm biased or anything.
That is true. Shovel is, not a very slow check. The benefit here for everyone who's not Desert Eagle is that most of these guys have not done the Dark World Overworld checks, so they can lump Shovel in with Stumpy. Whereas Desert, who's already done Stumpy, K45, everything, gonna be a little bit harder to route it in.
Yep, for him it's gonna turn out to be a gamble rather than just routing it in with everything else. So that only matters if there is something on Shovel.
It's very true. And Sea Falcon is now, after checking the pyramid, going into the front of Escape. We've already seen this, we know there's nothing here, so he's gonna be, giving back a bit of time to those who did it earlier.
Thinking about it, it might turn out to be to Desert's advantage to have already done the bottom of Dark World, because that'll put the King's Tomb and the Graveyard Legend a little bit earlier for him, if he goes that route.
That is true, and Sea Falcon, having already cleared the back and Dark Chest in Escape, knows that the map is in Zelda Cell, and just save and quits out nice and early saves a little bit of time there.
"40 minutes in, we have at least 2 crystals. No, every runner has done 1 crystal, and we have 2 runners that have done 3 crystals. Not bad so far.
And we find Bombos in King's Tomb, so no worries about Meyer requiring a medallion we don't have. We just got the 3rd one.
My only regret is that we won't get to see the requirements locked under the mat, under the welcome mat in Meyer.
That is true. The little, backup key left outside just in case.
You have done killed the meme, Zero. Or who was that? Falcon. Yep, and here's Skull Woods. There's really not a whole lot left for him to check.
Yeah, there's a decent amount of overworld stuff, but the Thieves Town and Skull Woods are probably your high concentration locations to try to look for that progression in.
Yeah, I imagine after this we'll go to Thieves Town, and do you think he'll go through the blacksmith chain at that point?
I think it's going to depend on if he finds anything on the way to that point.
And then I believe Falcon was one of the ones who found the hints for the or at least a unique item on a boss. So he might go all the way through these dungeons.
It is possible. You always hope that you don't have to bother with Mothula or Blind when they're pendants, but sometimes the seed just doesn't agree.
Oof, McCann getting trolled by that Bari. Set it up perfectly and got knocked back off.
Doing that the slightly more difficult way, being honest. The easy way is just line up with that block facing left, get yourself on the bottom pixel, and then go ahead and place the bomb, and you're good.
Meanwhile, Falcon's doing the bomb jump in Skull Woods. Having a little bit of trouble, but looks lined up now. All for a small key. Thanks, Skull Woods.
That small key was very important. It needed to be kept safe in that giant chest.
No security is good enough for us.
Now coming up to the vanilla big key chest, which with the Cane of Samaria is super quick and easy to check.
Ooh, gross. That is not a great thing to see right now.
That's actually kind of nice. It opens up another crystal dungeon that you can full clear in the form of a desert, as well as if you're going to keep going in Skullwoods like Sea Falcon is, then you can mirror over and, you know, make sure it's not a pedestal seed.
Get that safety of mind. I don't know. I don't like me personally, I don't like having to go do route in tablets. But I'm sure these runners will route it much better than I can.
Yeah, Ether Tablet would be pretty awful since you're going to go to Desert eventually anyway. Routing in Bombos is nice and easy along that route, but the Ether Tablet is never fun to route in.
Yeah, that Bombos tablet is probably a point in favor of doing the blacksmith chain.
Oh, Falcon.
Rip.
Wanted to try to save a little bit of magic there. Again, the Gibdos got bodied by them because of it, and ended up not making it to the final torch in time. Now we got Mikon, who is also in a very, very precarious position in this fight with Cold Stare.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest time losses you can have on a boss fight. Okay, one more. You can do it. And he's safe.
Safety, yay! So now, Sea Falcon grabbing a little bit of magic. He looks like he's going to use silvers to kill the Gibdos to make room. That should be enough magic to get all the torches lit. Just kind of a little bit on the tight side.
Yep, the downside being is that there's not going to be but maybe one shot for Mothula. But with Tempered Sword and Hammer, it's not even a consideration.
I think we made it back though. Got 5 hearts for Mothula, who is a boss who never gets easy because of his weird programming and immunity when he touches spikes. Just an annoying boss no matter how late you are in the game.
But it doesn't stop him all. Gets him quick, and not our unique boss.
A piece of heart, just what I'm sure he was after.
I mean, who doesn't like being healthy? But get hype, folks, because we're about to get a pedestal check. No, we're not.
We are not.
I'm a liar.
So, both the items they need for go mode right now are the hookshot and the flute. Both of those are items that can be on pedestal despite any kind of pendant layout, as long as it's not mire or swamp as pendants. So I don't know if I can agree with not checking that there, just because the only two items you need are both capable of being there.
And we got a pixel for pixel transition between Zero and Falcon. This is eerie.
That was a fantastic sync. They're... Oh, nope, Falcon's going up to Village of Outcasts, and Zero is making the swamp play.
He's also going to check that shovel spot, it looks like. Nope, I'm a liar again. Don't listen to me.
That's a risky play to not mirror over and check that there. I don't know if he forgot he had the shovel or just decided not to check it, but that's orphaning that location for very, very minor time save.
Yeah, that's, if there is anything there, it's gonna be a long, long time before he makes his way back over.
And I do get it. Wait, no, he's going back.
No, he remembered. Okay, we're good.
I was gonna say, if that was an active decision, I do get it, because I did similar in one of my qualifiers, but it's usually not a safe choice.
And just another piece of parts. Speaking of pieces of heart, that's what Zero found in the first chest in Swamp Palace.
Then worth noting, haven't really mentioned it, but Thieves Town has been pretty empty as well. Everything is empty.
Where's the progression? Where is it?
Probably in Spike Cave.
That is cruel.
To be fair, that's not in logic, because you need some kind of invincibility, but...
Can Spike Cave require bottle logic? Is that a thing?
I can require a bottle in addition to the cape, but it can't require just a bottle. Also, this is an interesting moment. Desert Eagle is going to check King Zora, who was skipped by everyone earlier due to lack of money.
Ooh, here we go. Nope.
Arrows! Hooray!
But speaking of Spike Cave, Zero found the Cane of Berna in the big chest and swamp.
Yeah, that's true. That dream might happen.
What have you done? You've cursed them. Mentos, why?
There's also another less evil option that I know why all four of these runners have been putting it off, but we do have East Dark Death Mountain open with 6 items over there. Well, 3 that are in logic, but 6 that you can get to if you can hover.
That's true. And then, I don't think anybody's checked out Agina, have they?
I don't believe Sea Falcon checked on his way into Desert, but we will be seeing that soon from him. Hey, it's Buttersword in Thieves Town.
I mean, that's nice, especially if you get the Mirror Shield, but it's not required by any means.
Yeah, it can potentially speed up a boss or two, but not a whole lot of difference made.
Oh!
The play! The play has been made.
Oh my god! I don't even have words for that.
It is not the first time I've seen it in this tournament so far, but it is always, always so cruel and unusual.
Oh god! When are the rest of these runners gonna find that?
Well, I think I don't know. I mean, Sea Falcon and Mekon are probably going to complete the dungeon the other has done. They haven't, eventually. You know, Mekon's going to go to Skullwoods after this, most likely. Sea Falcon is going to eventually go to Thieves Town. But, yeah, Swamp for Hookshot is, like, the last place you look.
And we're still looking for a unique item on a boss, so he might just be able to go clear some bosses and just happen across the flutes.
Yep, at this point, I mean, he can't get into Desert. If Flute is in Desert, then he needs to go to Skullwoods to get the book eventually. But if Flute's not there, he can clear everything except for Desert and Mire right now.
Yeah, if he's really lucky, the Flute's gonna be on Argus.
And where is... Let's see, Mekon's doing the blacksmith, we got Desert in Ice Palace, and we got Sea Falcon about to do Lamolus, which could be an informative fight.
Doesn't quite get the 0 cycle, but gonna get the 1 cycle, or 2 cycle? Wait, how does counting work?
I believe it does go 0 to 2 in this case.
Ooh, 0! Getting that quick! Clear for the phase 1.
Yep, he was practicing that before the race, and he put it to use there.
That was beautiful. And it's the flutes!
Oh! 0 is in go mode!
All the progression is in...
Well, I take that back. I take that back. 0 is not in go mode if Misery Mire requires Bombos, which was in King's Tomb.
Oh.
That can lead him on a Wild Goose Chase if that's required.
Oh my god. He's already pulling out Ether for some reason. Well, it doesn't matter because he saved and quit.
Now, if he just checks King's Tomb before going to activate the flute, then he'll be 100% good, but no, he's going.
I'm still thinking about that flute location. Holy crap!
The Swamp Palace was 100% the play.
I mean, we might have been in go mode, like, what, a minute and a half ago? 51 minutes?
Yep, right around there. And it's worth noting that that's one of the things that does tend to put people off, is going into Swamp without hookshot and stuff. You know, we've seen multiple runners diving into pendant dungeons before touching Swamp, and the play was just going to Swamp, but everyone avoids it so hard that 0 probably has a pretty sizable advantage over most people in the race right now.
Alright, Schrodinger's mode. Are we in go mode or not?
He's not even checking yet.
The suspense. Let's go into DP first. Hang on, hold tight, folks. Ooh, that makes me nervous. I'm not even racing.
See, I gotta say, I don't understand not checking Mire while you were right there. Because... oh, well, he's just gonna go mode Desert Palace and come back in if it is not a medallion he has. But, you know, I feel like you just checking it saves you some time if you do need another medallion.
You know what? I bet he's messing with us. I think he knows what he's doing. We're gonna have to ask him in the interview.
No, he definitely knows what he's doing. He's playing the risky strategies.
Messing with chat. No one dares mess with chat.
I don't know, I feel like people mess with chat pretty often.
Alright, Desert Eagle about to do Cold Stare. He is much more comfortable than where everyone else was. Red Mail and what is that, 7 hearts?
Yep, 7.5. Or no, yeah, 7.5. So he's definitely a lot better situation.
Zero getting the zero cycle. No surprise there.
Yep, pretty easy with the bow and silver arrows if you know how to line up for the shots.
Yeah, Silver's is really nice, especially since it was early. Let's see, that's Armos, that 1 shots, that's Lanmo, 2 shots, Vitreous, and hold on, we're about to find out the medallion.
It's Bombos.
Oh man. So close.
Now, the good thing for Zero is if he just saves and quits to Sanctuary and does King's Tomb, he'll have that in no time. But he's gonna have to make that choice, and it's not the best item location he has available.
He had a 66% chance of having the right medallion. And he was robbed! RNGesus, why?
Now going back into the desert.
Meanwhile, Desert Eagle finds the Bombos.
Everyone's got Bombos except the one person who needs it right now.
Oh man, now he's gotta go back through desert.
Now, hopefully he will make it over to King's Tomb before he starts diving pendant dungeons, because he could waste a lot of time very quickly here.
Mikon accidentally having to do a double mirror transition. Heart container on top of the Master Sword. Really rather unfortunate because they're already full cleared blind.
Zero has gotten both of his items out of desert. Now, where are you gonna go? I believe this is over to Checkerboard Cave. Then he just needs to save and quit to Sanctuary. Oh dear, it's the Ice Rod.
No, that's not... No! No! The one time we didn't need it.
Yeah, pretty much. And the downside for Zero right now is he's got literally every option in the world open. And he has to choose the right single location. That, before you have Flute, is pretty easy to route in, because you save and quit the Sanctuary. But after you've got Flute, not quite so easy.
Oh, he finds the good boomerang though. So, value for that.
Oh, he's doing it.
Come on, Zero. Come on. No, pull out the flute.
Don't do it.
No, don't do it. Put it away. Oh,
okay, he's gonna be in go mode very soon. Mikon is making the play into desert, which he will be able to full clear, but obviously will not have anything he's looking for. And at that point, he's getting kind of tight on locations he can go to, and maybe headed off to Swamp sooner than later.
And ladies and gentlemen, 58 minutes, 50 seconds in, and we are in go mode.
And all he's got left to do is Meyer and GT. This is going to be a stupid fast completion time.
God, what is it? Ooh, are we going to see a Godmire?
Well, actually, let me rephrase this. This will be a stupid fast completion time if we don't find GT Big Key in Tile Room.
Don't say things like that. It's only asking for trouble.
Listen, other than that hookshot, this has been a really friendly seed, you know? There's got to be something bad about it.
Well, friendly for Zero. I don't think anyone else is thinking this is really nice. These are
That's a fair point.
These are 4 out of 87 entrants.
Sea Falcon making his way through Thieves Town. We got Mekon finishing up Desert Eagle heading to Skull Woods, and Zero just over here in go mode, going through Mire.
Alright, I'm on the hype train. Let's go, Godmire! Ah.
Nope.
Robbed.
Zero definitely would have gone for the Godmire hover if it was there as well.
Oop, okay, there it is.
It's close to a Godmire.
I mean, almost but not quite Godmire still counts, I think. It does, so I can be right.
And it's worth noting that every single runner will be able to go mode Misery Mire. So there's no one who's going to have to keep checking chests after that. Everyone's going to see that and just go straight to the boss.
Now, I have not been paying attention, but I don't think Zero set up a spooky action glitch. Nope, I'm wrong. He did.
I was gonna say, I was pretty sure he did, but it was about to show one way or the other, so I figured no use saying anything.
No! He didn't hit the other switch, so he didn't need to hit that.
Oh yeah, good point. Good point. It's a very easy thing to forget.
Yeah, because normally you at least have to go that far. That's what feels bad.
Okay, Mekon. All you've got left is Overworld and Swamp Palace. Which are you gonna pick?
Do the thing. Do the thing.
Now, Sea Falcon doesn't have an Ice Palace clear yet, so I could see him going over there after finishing up a couple of Overworld things. Desert Eagle is clearing out this stuff over here. He'll probably dive into Thieves Town next.
Yep, Mekon finding the good boomerang as well. It's a little consolation prize.
Nice quick Silver Arrows Vidi kill, which makes life easy for everyone. Got the cape out of it.
Looks like Mekon's gonna go check out Dark Death Mountain. Unfortunately, there's nothing there.
He won't be the only one heading to Dark Death Mountain. It's just Zero is headed there at 1 hour and 3 minutes to go enter GT.
Speaking of, I think there's time for a little game.
That's true. What kind of game are you thinking?
Just pick a random number between 1 and 1,000,000. It doesn't. No, I'm just kidding. There are 22 chests in Ganon's Tower. One of them has a big key. Put your number in chat, and it won't be. We don't have the bot today since it's Qualifier. But be the lucky winner, and you'll get fake. Actually, no, it'll be fake internet points, not real internet points.
What if I want real fake internet points?
Then I have nothing to give you. It'll just be SOL.
That's fair. So my guess is sticking with that 22 from earlier.
I want to guess Bob's chest, but only if the runner kills Bob.
Okay, now we're getting into conditional chest guesses. That gets confusing.
I mean, I always kill Bob. I hate Bob.
Oh, Mekon, no. No, Mekon.
No!
Of all the things you could be doing right now.
That is the opposite of the thing you're going to be doing. Oof.
He's gonna go check the Bonk Chest and Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny Cave, but knowing he's not gonna find what he's looking for, odds are he's heading to T-Rock here soon.
Yeah, just because he opened it though doesn't mean he's absolutely gonna go check it out.
And the Hope Room in GT has nothing really going on inside there.
I mean, he'll be at full hearts when he goes to Aghanim now.
Oh, hey. Hey, Big
Kill
T.
Bob!
So that was number 3. That's nice and early. So at that point, expecting Zero to have as clean a gauntlet as I expect, we can probably think he's going to be around like the 110, 111 mark.
Yeah, no one's finished yet, so he's in a pretty good place. Though speaking of chests, it looks like the closest guesser was Maddle X20. You get the fake internet points. Congratulations. It's very different from real internet points.
Wasn't the cleanest Mimics one, but that happens occasionally.
Oh man, Mikans and TR. Sea Falcon's about to follow him.
Yep, and we already have Butter Sword, we got the Silver Arrows, we've got the Riot Shield, the Red Mail. There is literally nothing but maybe some bottles that TR could offer that could be any value.
But that's not going to be worth it no matter which way you cut it. Oof, my heart goes out to these people.
Yeah, credit where it's due to Zero for not being afraid of dipping into Swamp without the hook shot and getting severely rewarded for it.
Yeah, he's already sitting at number 3 on the leaderboard, and getting first place on his last qualifier is going to help out. Because his previous worst match was probably not number 1.
Yeah, and I mean, from a perspective of, you know, only seeing these 4 racers, it's hard to judge, but I mean, Nikon, at least I've known, has been around the community for a long time. Sea Falcon has done very well in qualifiers so far. You know, Desert Eagle has done pretty well. To be this far ahead leads me to believe that he's going to set the pace of the race by a good margin.
Change comp room, gets hit by 1, and he's through.
Meanwhile, Zero has done both Wizrobe rooms perfectly. The most satisfying things to do in the game.
Our small consolation is that we did get a hint that there's nothing in Mimic Cave, so at least they won't do that as well.
Well, assuming they remember the hint.
That's very true. It's very, very easy to forget about hints, especially, I don't know if any runners did this, but if you do back-to-back runs, it is very easy to forget about hints.
Sea Falcon forgot he doesn't have hookshot. He's gotta take a little ride here.
Whee! Oh, there's a, I think that was a green goo for Mikan.
The value. Pretty much all the value T-Rock.
Absolutely worth it.
Yeah, we got Moldorm 2 going down nice and quick.
No hover. Not today.
Yeah, no use going forward if you feel like you want to push to get first place. Or, you know, who knows, maybe someone finished a few minutes ago. We'll find out once Zero finishes, but, you know, when you're trying to push for that good finish, sometimes the hover is just too much of a risk.
But what about the swag points? Think of the children!
You worry about the spike points when you've already lost the race, and then, you know, you just decide to hover the gap to try next.
I hope I get to see that someday. That would make my life complete. Ugh, the Geometry Wizard's not playing nice today.
No, he is not. This is, some very bad patterns. Come on, you got the 0. Hey, there we go. It's awful when the Aghanim patterns just tell you, no, I know you know how to do this fight, but screw that.
Was it just me or was Zero tapping out the rhythm to the fight song with a hookshot?
That seems correct.
It seems like he was very particular about that input.
And here we go for the Ganon fight. With Tempered Sword, he'll be going for the 1-in-1 cycle to start the fight. It'll be no slower than Butter Sword if he gets it correct.
Meanwhile, McCann doing his best on Laser Bridge. He's got 3 hearts left with red melee, can take 1 hit. Oh, he's got Mirror Shield though. It doesn't matter.
Okay, Zero is well on his way to this 1-in-1 cycle. He will be wrapping this up with some dash strats, and then we will move on to phase 3. So save and quit out of TR and go south, Mekon. Do it! Yes!
He's doing the thing!
Third hit on Ganon. Okay, that's 4. We got silver arrows, we got full magic. There is nothing that could possibly worry Zero Rush at this point.
You know, besides Ganon hugs or... No, there's nothing. Ooh. He's fine.
Perfect setup for the triple. And that's going to be GG for Zero Rush.
What a swag finish. Really start to finish, nothing but swag for Zero Rush.
And as he walks through the door, he did finish in first place overall in this race with a time of 1:11:41. Very, very fantastic time for any seed, nonetheless a seed with Hookshot in Swamp. Well played by Zero Rush.
Yeah, this is gonna be, if you do well on this seed, it's gonna be good for you. If you didn't do well on this seed, it's gonna feel bad. I imagine there's gonna be quite a spread from start to finish, or first to last place.
Yeah, this is gonna be kind of like the one race that Andy did, that he finished with a 109, and it just kind of destroyed everyone's scores below him. So we will, I'm sure, be seeing if we can get Zero Rush in here to chat. Mekon is making the play into Swamp. He'll be getting his Go Mode items very soon, and he won't have much left to do at that point. Sea Falcon finishing up Laser Bridge. He's probably going to go to Ice after this, so I had to guess. And Desert is in Thieves Town. Has not touched T-Rock, hopefully will not touch T-Rock. This seed was... I mean, let's put it this way. This seed was not nice. It put Hookshot in left side Swamp. That's not a good place to find Hookshot. But everything else was free.
Everything else was free, except for the last 2 things that weren't free. And they were in a gambly location.
They very much were. Buying the best trucks. So wherever the mushroom was, you got 300 rupees if you turned it in. And I do see Zero in the waiting room, so I'm going to go ahead and pull him in here. And here is our overall winner of this qualifier, Zero Rush. How you doing?
Pretty good. How's it going?
We're reeling from your... Holy crap, dude. You burned that seed.
Yeah. Could have been faster if I hadn't done, like, Hyrule Castle. But, I mean...
Yeah, after you did the Ice Palace play, you went back down to go to the Dark World. And I'm like, is he really going to make gamble on Swamp right after Ice here? You didn't, but if you had, that would have been fantastic.
No, that would have been a little bit too nuts, I think. And even if I had, I'm pretty sure I still would have done all the other crystals first before checking King's Tomb anyway.
Yeah, the only reason I thought you might do that ridiculously crazy gamble was because, I mean, you were pretty much a lock for groups by the time this race started. So I can see you going for some of the wacky plays just to try to get that first place way ahead.
I mean, honestly, given what I had still to do, I don't really think it was that bad of a decision. I was right there anyway, and I could combo, like I could do the front of Swamp, get the hint, and then combo it with the overworld loop in Dark World. And is it really that much worse to do hookshotless Swamp over a bunch of pendant dungeons? Like the only other play I think that might have made sense was going to check if Turtle Rock was accessible, possibly. Like I think going to Turtle Rock would have been the gamble play over going into Swamp. But I didn't want to commit to a full overworld loop because then I'd have to do Thieves Town and Skull Woods while I was there. Like Swamp is risky, but much less of a time commitment, and I've already gotten crushed once this tournament in a qualifier by Hookshot in Swamp, and it was the last place I went.
Yeah, that play made a lot of sense when you made it, and everyone else kind of did the opposite. I don't know if you've been watching the restream back, but we had a couple of people in T-Rock for a while. Everyone's pretty much cleared out Skull Woods and Thieves Town. Everyone else has been avoiding Swamp like the plague.
Yeah, I just want to apologize for ruining everyone's average this seed.
Apologizing in advance. Unless you're like a Mentos who's in the qualifier but not race this.
Yeah, I mean, it helps my chances out long term, so I thank you.
Now, I do have to ask, so when you went to DP and you were mirroring out from the Dark World, did you skip checking the medallion on purpose to mess with us?
No, I didn't. I just came out, and when I went to Misery Mire, I realized I never checked it, and of course it was Bombos. I just assumed I was in go mode.
We did too, right? Right before we realized, hey, wait a minute, there's one more medallion in this game.
Yeah. And then I found Ice Rod, and I was like, oh boy. That plus Mushroom was on Lumberjack Ledge. I didn't have a book to check Pedestal. Like, I didn't know what Turtle Rock Medallion was either, so I don't know. That was a little scary, but I figured I'll check King's Tomb and do Big Bomb, because it didn't, so far there was like nothing locked behind mitts. Like I went into Dark World, Pod was all junk items, Ice was all junk items. I think the shovel was there.
Which was also
Eastern had nothing. Yeah, so it seemed like everything was pre-mitts. The Cane was in Light World. The Bombos, Hookshot, and Flute ended up not being locked behind mitts either. So it just felt like non-mitts locations were probably more important to check given how the seed was going. But I mean, it could have been anywhere. So I was definitely going up to Death Mountain soon, though, if it wasn't at King's Tomb or Pyramid Ferry.
It was pretty great right as you were walking up to Mire and realizing it was Bombos. One of the other racers on stream found the Bombos medallion in King's Tomb. Like, hey, look, it's the thing you need.
Yeah. But it all worked out, I mean.
It absolutely did. I'm pretty sure you're going to be very, very near the top of the overall score for these qualifiers with adding that win on.
Yeah, it depends on how, like, if Andy finishes all his and Sin, depends on how good he does. And if Sinhei, I assume he's doing his, depends on how good he does. Sinhei's only done 3, I think. So his score will only drop on his next one, but then it can improve again on his 5th. So I guess we'll find out. I'm currently at the top of people who've done 4 or 5 races, though. It's just a matter of do I stay there, and my score will go up after this. Yeah. So that'll be nice. Having, if not top, a high seed going into the qualifiers would be really good for this format.
So before the race started, we saw you practicing Argus. How did it feel to get that perfectly in the race?
Fine. I mean, when I was practicing, I was actually mad because I wasn't getting it, because I normally do not mess up that often. But getting it was good. It's always nice to save that like 6 seconds or so, a little less, I think.
To think if there's anything else really noteworthy in particular about this particular race for you. It went by quick enough where it was a little bit hard to get specifics.
Yeah. I really like the hints, I will say. Like, that makes so... Like, Ice Palace is suddenly a good dungeon to do because there's 3 hints. So it's nice that Ice Palace isn't as gambly as it used to be. Like, I never feel bad about doing Ice Palace in this version. So that's
true. Unfortunately, I think the unique item on a boss hint, was that in Ice Palace? That baited our other 3 restreamers pretty hard.
Really? Like, so they went right to a pendant?
Not right to it, but they've, I think all 3 of them have finished both Blind and Mothula.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that hint and I didn't really think much of it. I was just like, okay, well, there's 6 bosses or however many left. I'm not too concerned about rushing pendant bosses just because of that hint. And at that point, there were a lot of unique items left. There was Powder, Ice Rock Cape, Bombos. When I saw it, obviously, I didn't have that. Blue... I can't remember where I got Blue Cane in Ice Palace, but that was still there. There are a few left.
Yeah, I think the Blue Cane was in the big chest for Swamp. Now, it didn't turn out to be important, so it hardly matters.
You also reminded me, as I pointed out earlier in the race, that the hints now give value to the single arrow, because once you find it, you know that at least a unique item might be important.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's the only junk, so to speak, item. I don't think the 10 bomb drop is a unique item either. So that's good. Although I did find that one, I think. I think I found both, actually.
I believe so, yeah. Mika just got his 7th crystal, so he's going to be headed up to GT in just a moment. The seed was nice enough to not be a jerk right at the end and just give a nice early big key.
Yeah, speaking of which, like, I'm so glad there wasn't a key on the right side, Ganon's Tower. Because that would have been annoying, again, to do right side and then big keys on Torch. That happened to me already once this seed once this qualifier too.
I want to say it did to me as well, but yeah, it's the worst feeling. Like, okay, I did right side, let's go left. Oh.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, the seed was pretty good. Really good, obviously. I shouldn't say pretty good. Early boots, early sword. Played pretty well for the most part. Minor hiccups at the beginning, and then on Aga 2. That's about it, so pretty happy. Like, even though this one, you know, won't count for my score, it'll put one of my better scores in, so overall I'm pretty satisfied with my placing here, whether it's first or third or second or whatever it ends up being.
Yeah, there's practically no way you aren't sitting at top 16 at this point, so you're going to have the best ranking, so to speak, going into the groups that you could.
Well, speaking of those groups, or those group stages, is there anybody you're really hoping to play against or kind of to avoid?
I don't know. Not really. I'd like to play Andy again to get a rematch from last tournament. Playing against him is always really fun. And he likes a lot of the same modes I do. But I'm not really, like, worried or thinking too much about who I end up playing against right now.
So what kind of modes do you want to play for the group stages?
Oh, man. All dungeons, everything, no matter what, for sure. Definitely all dungeons. I don't care what mode otherwise. I don't want to play Key Sanity because I don't like Key Sanity, but I guess I'll probably end up having to. I'd much rather play Retro. Retro's a lot of fun. Key Sanity sucks, but other than that, I'm fine with everything else.
You know, you say that, and I don't think I've actually... Like, I know what Retro is, but I don't think I've actually ever watched a Retro match.
It's pretty cool. Like, it's... Basically, I mean, I'm sure you know, are familiar with what it is, but because you can buy keys and find keys, it actually changes the routing in a lot of dungeons a little bit. Like, you can save some time in Thieves Town. You can basically skip keys and Thieves and Swamp, you know, and just go for the quicker clears and just spend money when at a shop next time. Little things like that, plus it makes it a lot nicer to, you know, not skip locations because you need the keys anyway.
Yeah, for our folks at home that don't know what Retro is, it basically takes the rule set from Zelda 1 and puts it into Link to the Past. So firing arrows costs money. Both the wood arrow and the silver arrows are separate upgrades. There are some added caves for the it's dangerous to go alone quotes. I'll definitely have to check that out next time I see it.
Yeah. Overall, though, I think I'm looking forward to Inverted the most. That's gonna... Good or bad, that's gonna cause a lot of entertainment during this tournament. 100%.
Yeah, that's a really difficult mode, but people love watching it.
I am so with you on that one, Zero.
Yeah, the good thing, one of the good things about Inverted is it is really, really difficult, but it's only difficult in the beginning, like mechanic-wise, because obviously once you get out of Dark World and don't have to do skulls and fight strong enemies with 3 hearts and start getting weapons, it gets, you know, very similar to a normal open seed, as opposed to like Expert, where it's just hard all seed long.
Just some nice, easy 3-heart green male fighter sword Mothula. What could go wrong?
You know?
No, Hammer Blind.
Hammer Blind the first time, I would say, is much easier than Fighter Sword Mothula. Hammer Blind, if you've died or failed and he doesn't start at the center, is a nightmare with 3 hearts.
It's a pretty good way to sum it up.
We're about an hour and a half in here, and Mikan is almost at the top of GT. Only a few more rooms to go.
Got through both Wizrobe rooms, letting first torch room now. Gonna be heading up to Moldorm 2 momentarily.
And meanwhile, Desert Eagle just finished his 7th dungeon. He's about to get the GT as well.
And poor Sea Falcon killed Aghanim for the mushroom off Lumberjack Tree, which got him nothing, and is now doing Ice Palace. Swamp should be his only play once he's done here.
Yeah, that Aghanim play was very, very costly. He's not going to feel good about that later.
Now that's a gamble I can get behind. I was thinking about it. Because you had Aghanim access at like Lumberjack Aghanim access at like 10 minutes or something. Whenever that sword was. That was a little absurd.
See, I actually missaw the Lumberjack item on the restream, thought it was just a piece of heart, and completely wrote off the possibility. Until I'm like, oh, why is this guy doing Aghanim? Why is he doing this now? Oh, it was a mushroom.
So your collection rate showed up on screen. 116 out of 216 for 111. What are your thoughts about that?
Seems pretty good. I accidentally grabbed the heart piece in Lost Woods. That should be 115. I accidentally grabbed the map in Zelda Cell because I forgot I did not find it. So really that could be 114, and that's just frustrating. Gotta get that as low as I can.
Looks like Mekon is having about the same issues that you had with the Agnes 2 fight. These patterns are not very forgiving.
Yeah, like I messed up a couple of them for sure, but like South fireballs just screw everything up. It's stupid. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of feel like with the V30 update, they kind of made it so there wasn't such a good chance for a good lineup or a good pattern.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all over the place all the time, but that one was kind of especially bad. That was like a 7 cycle or something. I know I just completely whiffed one of them with 3 energy balls. But yeah, I guess I'll clear out before Mikan finishes. Let him in here. I have to drive 800 miles to Florida tomorrow, so I would like to go to bed.
Oh goodness. Well, GG. Good game.
Good games. Thanks for commentating and watching, everyone.
Thanks for putting on such a great showing. Have a good trip.
I will. It'll be a nice vacation. Okay, good night.
Alright, McCann starting Ganon at the same time that Desert Eagle got his big key. So, barring any unfortunate falls, this should be pretty set in stone.
Yep, and we got a bunch of finish times and forfeits to read out once Mekon finishes here. We'll worry about his Ganon fight, which is going excellently so far. He's got butter and silver, so not much can go wrong.
Ooh, that made me nervous.
34 silver, and that will be a GG to Mekon.
Meanwhile, Sea Falcon's about to get his flute here in a few minutes. Just, also his hook shot.
Let's see, tied in with a few forfeits splattered in here and there. We have T-Stew14 finishing in second place at 119. Dustin finishing in third place at 122. So the top 3 average for this race is just wrecked. Sonicam came in fourth at 122. I am the Schwartz at fifth with 123. We got Matt 7898 in sixth at 125.19. One up in seventh at 125.31. We got Dark Shadows 59 in 8th with 126.46. We have Asmati Games in 9th with 128.36. Scrub Casual in 10th. We got Hobo Jim in 11th. Babast in 12th. Tadaru in 13th. Fox Zero in 14th. Apathy Duck in 15th. And Mekon coming in 16th place with a 132.34.
And speaking of Mekon, here he is. GG.
Hey, how's it going? That was a little annoying.
Yeah, that Swamp Palace was nasty.
Yeah, I don't think my plays were... I don't think my decisions were bad. They were just all wrong. Every single one.
I know that pain.
Yeah. I don't think I made any, like, irrational decision based on, like, oh, well, I'm gonna trick everyone. I'm gonna go here and do it. No, I don't think I did any of that. I played safe the whole time, and it would just happen to be wrong. One thing I did actually feel a little nervous about is that after I got the book in Skull Woods, I left, and I knew that there was still an item on the boss. And I was just really hoping it wasn't Moth, and I was hoping the book would lead me to my next thing, but no, it led me up to Turtle Rock instead, which was also wrong.
Yep, sometimes that happened. Were you the one that checked the pedestal, or were you the one that skipped it?
I did. I checked it. I was still thinking about. I was trying to decide: do I do modular or not? I know a boss has an item. Should I just stay here? No, I'll just mirror check the pedestal instead.
The first person who got the book decided to skip checking the pedestal, which I feel is a pretty big risk when the only 2 items you still need are both pedestal capable items, but you know, moved on and it turned out to be a minor time save.
Man, Sea Falcon really didn't like finding the hookshot there.
Yeah, that was super unfortunate. He's done literally everything else.
That super stinks. Including the mushroom?
Yep.
Including the
really?
mushroom.
As soon as I found the hookshot out there, I was like, you know what? Well, let me tell you what's going to happen here. Argus is going to have the flute, and everyone's going to be done already. That's exactly what I thought as soon as I found that.
It's funny that you mentioned that because while you were fighting, I think it was when you were fighting Landmo, Zero Rush was fighting Argus, and it was you knew one of them was going to have it probably, and it just turned out to be Argus.
Oh, I had found both items in Desert. I knew Landmo wasn't going to have it, but yeah. I was also just expecting Argus to have the Ice Rod and then Trinex to have the flute, so just to make it a Turtle Rock double for me.
No, unfortunately, well, fortunately, Ice Rod was in the under the checkerboard cave.
Oh, I see. Okay. So
Yeah.
I assume Zero Rush got it, like, into Swamp almost instantly, considering he was 20 minutes or more ahead.
He
Yeah.
put it off a little while. He got to Dark World, got the Titan's Mitt, went right into Ice Palace, cleared out Pod and Eastern, and then he was down in the area and dipped into Swamp instead of going to the Village of Outcasts overworld stuff, going over to the Pendant Dungeons over there.
Yeah, that whole side of the world was a big old trap, and that was really annoying. Because there's a lot of items over there. This is convenient if I can route this in with other stuff as soon as I get in the Dark World, right? But that's actually a lot of stuff over there that takes a good amount of time to check it all. And when there's nothing, that's a bunch of wasted time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty much the main difference, is just dipping into Swamp over doing all that item density on the west side of the world. And it worked out this time.
I had a lot of bonks. I don't think my execution was all that great, but I usually I usually play consistently okay. Like, I do okay with my times, and that's just because I make like correct decisions, and it's not my execution at all. But it didn't save me this time because everything was nowhere I went. But that early kind of game up until Mitts was really loaded. Like, as soon as I got Mitts, that was pretty much it, right? Except for the flute and hookshot.
Yeah, that was the only 2 items that were even trying to hide.
Yeah, it was almost like 40 minutes between the Mitts and finding the hookshot, probably. That's a long time of finding nothing.
Yeah, Zero almost got trapped by the Bombos medallion. That was the one thing that he didn't have when he got hookshot and flute.
Oh,
And
right.
he stumbled into it right afterwards.
That's right. That was for Meyer, and that was in Kingstown?
Yeah, he hadn't checked it yet, and immediately after the Meyer, he saved and quit the Kingston. Was like, oh, there it is. Never mind, go back.
How nice that must have been.
So Desert Eagle has just finished up. I'm not going to try to keep up with reading every single finisher, because there are a lot of people in this race. But he finished in 29th place with a time of 1:38.19.
Nice. Well, I was about 20 minutes behind 3rd place, so I hope this is my worst race. Even though, like, numerically, I think I did okay, like 16th or something, I don't know. But 20 minutes behind 3rd is not all that hot, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was actually about to ask, that was your 3rd match, so what's your plan for these last 2?
I'm just gonna do them and hope that everything goes more correct than it was this time.
Just go fast, huh?
I don't think it's gonna convince me to go into Swamp Palace early ever. But if you play really silly, it would have definitely worked out this time. That would have been a really quick go mode.
Gonna offer some advice from my my qualifier experience. Don't mirror at the top of GT.
Why? What happened? Oh, like in the dungeon, not outside. Okay, yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, it's a bad choice. It doesn't help.
All right, well, I'm gonna hop out of here then. You can get Desert Dingle in here if he wants to.
Sounds good.
Well, GG.
Yeah, thanks. Take care.
Have a good night.
All right, joining us, our third Finish Free streamer. Here is Desert Eagle. GG, man.
GG, thank you.
So what are
So
your
how about?
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so how about the hook shot?
That Swamp Palace. I don't really care for going in there without the hook shot. And I ran by it, a couple times, Swamp Palace, and I was like, I should really go in there. And then something in the back of my mind, I think the hint that there was a unique item on a boss, I was like, oh, well, maybe it's one of these. And then I saw the first place finish, and I was like, oh no, skipping the 3 items in Thieves Town was a bad idea. No, I should have just done the thing. But it is what it is.
Yeah, hookshotless swamp is always a hard call to make. There are definitely arguments to be made to go for it, but at the same time, it's not something that's just easy to be like, yeah, let's go hookshotless swamp. That'll be fun.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think I don't know, maybe I metagamed it too much. I was like, oh, we finished. I must have walked right by something.
Yep, always a trap.
Yeah, the moment I beat whatever one I did second, I think Blind. When I beat Blind and realized, it's like, yep, okay, that's what had to happen. But
Yeah, that entire part of the Dark World was just not playing nice, so it was kind of just a big trap.
yeah, I was pretty, when it started all going wrong at the end there, I was like, man, this is great. I got 5 crystals, everything's going well, and then it just ground to an immediate halt. It's just so frustrating when that happens. But, yeah.
So that was your third match, right? So what's your plan going into your last 2 matches?
Try to avoid dumb mistakes. It's a pretty generic thing, but
I mean, keep it simple. You can remember it.
yeah. Because that, in my second qualifier, I shot myself in the foot, and halfway through doing it, I realized why it was dumb. My second qualifier had boots and left side GT, and GT Big Key was on the torch. And I knew the boots were behind Hammer from one of the hints, and for some reason, I decided to ignore that left side GT is Hammer locked, and I went and fought Helmasaur. So I literally just threw 7 minutes out the window by doing that. And like when I walked into Pod, I was like, oh yeah, that was a dumb choice. So it's usually just one little thing that I do that costs me so much time.
Yeah, it's the wonder of rando. I remember that scene. You definitely weren't the only person to jump out of GT like that. It was a decision that was reached by a few people at the very least. So, sometimes you make a call, even if it's an accidental call, and it doesn't work out, but it's hard to limit the times those happen.
Yeah, definitely. But I've just gotta try to do better in the next 2, and I'm below the cutoff for 96, but I'm not too far from it, so I just gotta try and raise that average a bit, and hopefully I can just squeak into the bottom there, but we'll see what happens.
Yep, that's the thing with the randomizer. Anything can happen.
Yep.
And the scores for everyone on this race are going to be their drop scores, most likely, because 0 just destroyed the top 3 average and made it a lot rougher to get a good score on.
Yeah,
But-
Zero's time was amazing on this.
Yeah, he got the swamp decently early, and then after finding out Meyer needed bombos, decided to save and quit the sanctuary, check King's Tomb before doing anything else, so everything just kind of ended up working in his favor there.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see this is one of those jet seeds. Just
Yeah, I feel
you
like
played it right.
yeah, quite a few of these qualifier matches have been jet seeds. It's really kind of weird.
Yeah. So I think the first 2 that I was in, I think they both, the top time was like a... Oh no, the second one might have been 130, so I think the first one I did, in fact it was even Jet, who got like a 120 something. I don't know if he was first actually, he might have been third. Anyway, they were in the top, or like 120s. So they've been some pretty fast seeds, these ones.
So just out of curiosity, how long have you been playing Randomizer?
Playing Randomizer and trying to go fast, I guess about 6 months now. Like, it was like a couple weeks before the spring tourney last year that I started playing it to go fast. Only doing like casual randos and NMG runs before that.
Dang, 6 months for going fast. That's pretty good.
It's fun. Yeah, thank you.
Alright, well, do you have any final thoughts about the seed?
I'm glad it wasn't an Agaseed. This is my first qual that wasn't an Agaseed. I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, at least there's that.
Yep. Gotta find the one positive in there.
Because I feel bad. At the beginning of the race, I predicted a fetch quest progression, and then there was a mushroom on the desert, on the lumberjack cave. That's probably the worst thing that could have happened.
If you could have seen my face when I saw that mushroom, I was just like, oh, not this again.
Not like this.
Pretty much. But thankfully it didn't end up going that way.
Alright, well, thanks for coming out. It's a really good race, dude.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the restream as well.
As usual, thank you for putting on a good show. No, things didn't quite work out with where items were at, but 138 for pretty much a full clear is real solid, so can't complain too much.
I'm surprised my collection rate was only 142 after all that. I guess avoiding GT really does a number on that. So.
Yeah, 142 for a butter sword, mirror shield, red mail.
Okay, no kidding.
Talking about safeties.
Actually, I do have a question. I see Nikon found some bottles. I didn't find any of them, obviously.
Let's see, one was in TR, the green goo was.
Okay.
And then the other
forget
one,
where the other one
was it in... No, it wasn't in Hookshot Cave. It wasn't in that bong chest. Shoot, I'm not sure. Chat helps out.
Yeah.
Oh, Super Bunny.
Ah, okay.
Oh, that's McCann. Thank you.
Dark Death Mountain, home of safety.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, you had red tunic, so I wasn't really, concerned about it. But
And with no half magic, you have to really worry about that in Ganon's Tower.
the only time I was really worried with magic is I was just like, well, just don't misfire anything in Ice Palace. That's other than that.
Just be perfect and there won't be a problem.
Yeah, right?
What's so hard about that?
Exactly. I'll head on out of here. So looks like you'll have Falcon in here pretty soon. So
Yeah, once again, GG.
thank you.
Have a good night, dude.
You too. Thanks.
Alright, Sea Falcon. I'm not sure what he's looking for in those chests. He's been opening up all of them on his way up.
I think this is just a matter of I've opened everything else. I might as well open everything on my way.
You know,
Like,
I
he
can
knows
respect that.
And he knows at this point, you're sitting there at 15 when first place was a 111. You absolutely are aware this is going to be the score that gets dropped as the worst. So the couple extra seconds opening some chests don't really hurt you.
Yeah, and plus now we get to know what was in those chests. But speaking of half magic, that's kind of the one thing we don't know where it is.
Yeah, it's probably Basement GT somewhere at this point. Or maybe on
yeah.
Trinex.
Yeah, probably somewhere we weren't ever going to end up.
I think that was the quickest Aga 2 fight out of anyone on Restream.
Yeah, that was good. He was not messing around earlier. Alright, 150, 120, getting to the pyramid. Probably is for sure going to get a sub 2 hour. And I bet he'll get a sub 155.
That seems like a pretty reasonable guess.
Actually, I'm looking at chat now and Sea Falcon's here. How are you doing this? You're on the screen.
It's witchcraft. Witchcraft, I say. Not quite, in response to chat. That hookshot wasn't a secret to everyone. It was a secret to everyone except Zero Rush.
It's like people like that have like a sixth sense for knowing where progression is. Him, PKR, Andy. You just can't stop him.
Yeah, there tends to get a point where you've played enough Rando where you just start to see the patterns and go with stuff, but sometimes, I mean, Mekon has played just as much as all those people. He is great at routing, and he got stumped by that once. Sometimes you can't win. And that is it for Sea Falcon. GG to him, finishing in 66th place with a time of 1:53.05. You know, he did everything. He did Aghanim, he did all the pendant dungeons, he full cleared everything. And he's still 7 minutes sub 2. Long story short, regardless of Zero's 111, that is a great time in its own right.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let's see if we can get him in here for the interview. Yeah, until Desert pointed that out, I didn't realize nobody else found bottles. Alright, joined by our fourth restreamer, here is Sea Falcon. GG.
Thanks.
So, how about that hook shot?
You know, the more I'm thinking about it was... Because I walked by several hint tiles. Was there one that said something about left side swamp?
Nope.
Oh, so that was just a YOLO play that worked out for some people? That's incredible.
Yeah, well, Zero, this is his final match, and he's ranked 3rd for the qualifiers, so he could have just done anything and still passed. But his gambling plays turned out to be the right ones.
All right.
That being said, I do want to say I don't think Swamp at the time he did it was a gamble. You know, you got pendant dungeons left. Yeah, he had some overroll he could have done. But his thing was, I'm right here by a crystal dungeon. I can't clear it yet, but might as well check it. The swamp gets a bad rap for being a gamble to go into if you can't full clear or if you aren't in go mode. But I think at the time it was a very reasonable play, not a gamble.
I mean, we can say that as commentators, but I think we have 87 people here who might have different opinions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really that. I mean, okay, well, other than the 50 hammers I took to the chest after I found the hook shot, I'm not really that upset because, you know, the worst race result gets thrown out, and hopefully that was definitely my worst race since apparently I thought I was entering the All Dungeons tournament or something, and basically full cleared the game and went to go get the mushroom from Lumberjack for no reason. That was great.
Yeah, like I said, your time is fantastic for the fact that you just full cleared the entire game.
Happens.
Yeah, and you still have 2 more matches after this, right? So I think
Yeah, that
you're
was only race number 3, and I was ranked number 10 coming into the
yeah.
race. So
I think you're in a good position.
yeah, like I said, as long as this is the worst one, and I don't have another race like this, but I'm pretty much known for saying that if Hookshot's in Swamp Palace, congratulations to everyone who's playing me, because I'll try anything and everything before that, and yeah, I pretty much did.
Yep, that happens.
Yeah, I know. I had my own seed like this in the qualifiers. The salt was real right afterwards, but after a while, I'm just like, okay, I got 2 more races. You know, let's just get stuff done. So just gotta focus forward.
Yeah, of course.
And so speaking of your rank, so number 10 going into this race, 96 overall. Your chances are pretty good for getting into the group stages. What kind of modes are you hoping to play?
Well, based on tonight, all dungeons, obviously, but no. I'm very good at doing that by accident in any randomizer, but no.
Now watch me do it on purpose.
Yeah, exactly. No, for me, honestly, I have been very excited about the new inverted mode. So if I make it, that will also be a thing that I won't be sad to see. As challenging it can be, I kind of find it as a new, refreshing take on Randomizer, and it's really cool to play.
Yeah, people love watching it, and it's gonna be really hype for this tournament.
And so, other than the obvious swamp stuff, anything stick out to you about the seed in particular?
I mean, really, honestly, it was pretty straightforward. Other than that, because I mean, I was pretty much, what I was hookshot and flute from go mode. What, like 35 minutes in, maybe something like that.
Something
I think
like
I had
that.
everything else by that point, and you know, I just, like I said, it seemed pretty easy if you just made that one play. And I admit, I also did kind of hold out in Swamp 2 a little bit, and Ice Palace. I was hoping maybe I'd read a hint tell somewhere that said something, but the only hint tell that I read that was quote unquote helpful said that there's an item like on a boss, which at that point when I got hookshot in Swamp, even though I checked just to be sure, I'm like, I'm pretty sure Argus has the flute, and this will be the end of this string. So I guess that was alright.
Yeah, how unhelpful is that? There's 10 bosses and none of them are really close to each other.
Well, I mean, for me, it's helpful when you've killed almost every other one and haven't gotten an item off a boss yet. But no, hints are something too that I've had to really, even though there's another couple randomizers I play that have hints, I've still had a hard time adapting to them and reading them. I mean, I ran right by 2 hint tiles in Ice Palace, I'm pretty sure, and didn't read them. And you know, and not just running by them, but interpreting hints. I know, actually, I think Mentos, I was talking about this in the last race that I did, where I didn't understand that something being bow-locked meant it had to be on Helmasaur, so, you know, just hints and understanding them is kind of important in this new version.
Yeah, the little quirky ones like that, especially that are unexpected due to the game mode differences.
Right, and I've played 2 Randomizer seeds ever, so that didn't even enter my head, so it's just one of those things I gotta learn.
all things considered, though, did quite well so far. And the hints are, I think, you're getting, or you seem to at least know that you're not entirely used to them, which is a good thing for getting more used to them, getting more use out of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm kind of interested in seeing if anybody does gentleman agreements for the hints. Because I know during the finals, people will do things like that, where they'll skip the silver arrows if they can. Or I'm just wondering if... I'm wondering if people are going to do that for the hints.
Good question. I don't know if anyone will really go that route, because, you know, you never know what's going to happen. But, or if, you know, you accidentally read a hint because it's muscle memory at that point, what do? Do you forfeit the race because you accidentally read a hint that helped you? It just gets kind of messy to try to do something like that, I think.
That's true. And then, Falcon, you had a menu time of 3 minutes for a 153. Holy crap.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with that, because my menuing usually sucks. So, it's gotten a little bit better because I've recently moved over from playing on emulator to console, but still, even then, my menuing usually is pretty bad, so...
Oh,
that's not bad. That's not bad, although seeing the Zero Rush's 116 collection rate and then mine being 168 is kind of deflating.
But if you move to console, that means we're going to see hovering next time, right?
Oh no, I can't hover. I know I mashed A after I killed Modorm 2 like I was gonna try something, but no, I don't actually know how to hover.
All right. Well, any last minute thoughts about the seed or thoughts going forward into the qualifiers?
Nah, like I said, this one's probably gonna be the one that's thrown out, so I just gotta move on to the last two and just try to play more like I did in the first two, and everything should be fine. And also wanted to say thanks to everyone here at ALTTPR for restreaming and having me on here. Forgotten to pay Mentos, man. Thank you guys so much for doing commentary. I really appreciate it.
Hey, we appreciate you for racing. It is. I don't think I mentioned this before to chat, but racing on a restream is super nerve-wracking, especially when there's 87 people in the race already. So just thank you so much for putting yourself out there.
Yeah. You guys have a great night.
You too. All right, Mentos, any last thoughts for the seed?
I think we covered most of it in the interviews. The general thing is, you know, make sure if you're enjoying Link to the Past Randomizer, give our runners a follow. These four put on great shows. You know, some of them got more unlucky with item placements than others. But that being said, they all played very well. They all got through the seed in a great bit of time. Also, some shout outs to our trackers, Espion and Pearl, as well as our restreamer tonight, Iceman F1.
Yep, could not do this without you guys, so thank you so much. And if you're finding it hard to follow our runners, also give a follow to the ALTTPR randomizer channels 1 through 6, and also Speed Gaming 1 through 6, so you can keep up with the qualifier matches.
We're entering the final week of qualifiers. We're trying to get as many races restreamed as possible during that time. So if you follow both the ALTTP randomizer and Speed Gaming channels, you'll be able to catch all angles of all the remaining races.
And with that, I think it's time to say goodnight.
I think so. Forgotten to pay, thank you for joining me tonight. It has been a pleasure.
It has. Thank you so much for having me here. And to everybody, good night. Remember, somebody loves you.
Later, chat.